Hi everybody, my name is Max and I'm here to give a video lesson on the old fiddle tune Red-Haired Boy brought to you by the Badgerland Bluegrass Music Association. So hope this video finds you well, hope you're doing the things you need to do to stay healthy, and of course I hope we can all get through this little corona incident and get back out and picking as soon as it's safe to do so. In the meantime, this is part of the weekly series on different tunes. This week's tune, as I mentioned, is Red-Haired Boy, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how that goes on the banjo. I really like this tune. It's one of the first melodic tunes that I learned a couple of years ago, and it's still a great old song, very popular at jam sessions. I think because it's got a great melody for one thing, and a set of interesting chord changes, and there's some interesting things going on with it from a banjo point of view. So we'll get into all that, but first I'd like to put in a good word and a couple of friendly reminders to make sure that you're practicing well and practicing efficiently so that you can learn this tune and the other things that you're working on. I am a big fan of two things, but very important musically. One is to use your metronome. If you don't have one, there's lots of reasonable deals you can have on any of the major music stores if you want to order online, or your local music store if you want to go pick one up. It really helps your sense of timing and really will improve your playing, and not just timing, but overall. Also, even better, if you don't want to run out and buy a metronome, there's lots of free metronomes online. I use Google Metronome for the simple reason that if you Google the word metronome, it brings up the Google Metronome and it's right there. That's a plus for banjo players, whether you're using Google or some other free online metronome, because you can crank it up loud and you can hear it over the banjo. And that's the problem with the old battery-powered or wind-up metronomes. They can be hard to hear when you're chugging along. Anyways, the other thing that I strongly recommend is to practice slowly. As the great Sonny Osborne said, if you can't play it slow, you can't play it fast. So be patient with yourselves when you're learning a tune, and try to play it at the tempo where there are no mistakes, where you can play it smoothly. And I promise you, once you get them ironed out, you can use your metronome or your own techniques to bring it up to speed where you want it. Finally, one little third tidbit is learn in small bites. You don't try and sit down and learn all 16 measures or even all 8. Go 1-2 measures at a time and make sure you got them down. One of the cool things about this song that we'll see is that it's got 3 or 4 pieces that repeat. So really, if you learn those 3 or 4 pieces, then you'll be able to use them throughout the song, and you're really only learning it one time and then learning where it goes so that you can play the whole tune. So let's jump in on the Red-Haired Boy. One of the things I like about this song is that it's fun to play. It's a nice intermediate level fiddle tune that nevertheless sounds quite well. Very popular in jam sessions and just to play. It is in 2 parts, the A part and the B part. We'll break those down. First, I would like to play the chords for you a little bit, and those are fun too. I think that's one of the distinctive things about this song, is the chord changes are a little bit different than your run-of-the-mill, G to C, G to D kind of thing. It's got some nice changes in it, and it's got a lovely melody. But let's start with the chords. We'll put those down, and just for the A part, I'll do A part and then B part, and here we go. Turn on the metronome. It's at 56 beats per minute if you're following along at home. 1, 2, 3, 4. put up the tab with the chords on it just real quick. You can see that I was playing it out of the standard F formation. We're in the key of A, by the way, capo 2. And in Nashville talk, this is the 1 chord. The D chord, or C if you're looking at it with capo point of view, lays down nicely just to hit that old bar position. And then A chord again. And at the end of the phrase, it's just got a quick little EA, or DG if you're playing open. That's all there is to it. So have fun with that. I'm a big believer in learning the chords along with the tune so you can play backup, and also I think it helps get that whole piece together up in your head. That's a piece that you need. Okay, now I'm going to stop for quick and load up the tab, and we'll start jumping in on what's going on with the melody. Okay. Now, put the tab up here so you can have a look at it. What I'm going to do is just play it, the A part, one time for you through slow, then we'll break it down. One, two, three, four. Hey, just a real quick word on the tab that you're looking at. So you'll see the little numbers up above the notes on the staff. Those are your left-hand fingering notes. There's some interesting things that I want to point out there. The letters underneath are index, middle, thumb, and a hammer on so that you can see what the right hand is doing. Anyways, what I think is fun about this song right from the get-go is in the first couple of measures, it bounces, as I call it, up the scale a little bit to set up the melody. You can see it goes just the first 2 measures there. And that's kind of fun for a couple of reasons. One is you're alternating between the D string and the G string in the first measure, and mostly between the D string and the B string in the second measure. Now that's a lot different than your typical Scruggsy type breakdown or driving bluegrass song, because there's not a forward roll, backward, or alternating roll built into these melodic styles of playing. Instead, what you're trying to do is use your right hand and your left hand together to find the melody notes and putting in the appropriate filler. So you're going to see a lot less rolls coming through. If you look down there at the bottom, in the first measure, it's all alternating thumb and index with a little hammer on in there. And then in the second measure, it's mainly middle and index alternating to get the melody notes when they go up a little bit higher. Anyways, it bounces, as I like to call it, and I will show you how that goes up the neck. Take a look at my left hand here as it goes up the neck to hit the first melody notes of the piece. See, right up the D string. The melody, in this case, this song starts out low on the D string. So that's fun right off the bat, because once you get it up to speed, it just kind of moves right up. Also note use of the little finger. I recommend that for this song, and generally in the melodic style when you're in this neighborhood of the neck. Now this is a nice song because it gets you using your middle finger, but without a big old stretch or any you know, weird hand motions. It just goes first finger here on the 4th fret, capoed up. You've got your ring finger, and then up to what would be the 7th fret up here. Here's a little trick the bass players use that I picked up. When they're using their pinky fingers, they've always got their ring finger right behind it, just back in the neighborhood. It gives you a little more strength. It's good for your for this song. It just gives your pinky a little more help, and that's all you need. So that's the first measure. The second measure starts on the B string and continues on up the scale, or at least ascending melodic line. A little hard to see maybe with the camera because it's my fingers are in the way, but it's all with the second fingers. Now, these things aren't set in stone. I do recommend the little finger here for reaching that note. It makes a good chord position like this, which works for the melody. But other than that, you know, go for what's comfortable. So the two measures together are. In the third measure, get the open strings, and then back. Or words to that effect. Comes back down the scale again. Then the whole thing repeats pretty much. So that phrase is repeats, and you end the A section with a little tag, if you will, to show, hey, we're at the end of the first part. So sounds fiddly, right? Wondering about that, but it sounds very nice on the melodic banjo too. So that's the A part right there. Now we'll talk a little bit about the B part. I'll put the tab up and we can talk about it. Okay, so here's the tab for the B part, and I'll play the chords for you first, and then I'll play it one time through slowly with the melody so you can get it in your ears. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Let's switch over to the video so you can see the chords. I'm sorry, see the left hand. 2, 3, 4. Sorry, that's why I used the metronome. Got a little ahead there at the end, but I hope you could see what I was doing there, and we will break it down now. One of the things that makes this song distinctive is that chord change at the beginning of the B part. It's marked as F because it was written open. If you're playing the key of A, it's a G chord, actually. Be that as it may, it's got that, which is a nice strong chord change. I think keeps the song fresh and interesting as you go through it. The interesting part about the song is that one chord change, that one adjustment to the melody in the B part really sets up the whole song. The rest of the tune is the same as the A part. So whoever came up with this melody, wherever it came from, they were very smart. They just changed the one chord and a little tune at the beginning of the B part, slapped it onto the A part, and it worked. It's a great little musical move, and it's what makes the song sound interesting to me anyway. So that's all you gotta know about the B part, is just to get this one part. I'll play the phrase in the first measure and a half or so, just so you know. Do it again, nice and slow. Really, the first measure is what's different. already when you get into the second measure of the B part, you're already repeating what's above in the A part. I encourage you to take a look at the tab that's attached and compare. They are the same, yet it works so nicely with this old tune. So I think that's pretty much it for the mechanics of playing this song, because if you've gone through the A part and learned the measure of the B part, then you're all set. Just a matter of practicing a little bit, working it out, and getting comfortable with it. Oh, hey, one other quick word about the tune before I wrap up. Again, on that first measure, one of the things I should point out is that what can be unusual for some players is that you're grabbing the melody with the top strings as opposed to more on the B, D, and G strings below. And some people find that a little unusual. You're getting the melody with your two picking fingers and not with the thumb. So just real quick, just want to show you. There's a place in France where the... Never mind. Sometimes that'll take a little extra attention because your fingers aren't used to getting the melody on that. So don't get concerned if that feels unusual to you. For starters, just give it a little extra attention at a appropriate speed till you smooth it out and bring out that melody a little bit. Anyways, that's about it for me, other than to put in a few plugs for the great banjo and bluegrass resources that are out there. First of all is the the Badgerland Bluegrass Music Association webpage. That's where you can keep up with the players and the events and the jam sessions and what's going on around southeastern Wisconsin, in fact, the whole state, and Illinois. So be sure and check out BBMA if you haven't. For banjo-specific resources, there's some that I like. Banjo Newsletter, it's been around forever. Their website is good. I encourage you to subscribe and support them, and so you can stay up to date what's going on in banjo world. The Banjo Hangout is a great place. They have a ton of tabs and lessons. They have forums. They have all kinds of interesting stuff. If you're interested in pursuing online lessons, there's links to that. So Banjo Hangout's really cool. And there's an old website called bluegrassbanjo.org, which is run by Phil down in Chicago. It's been around a long time, and he's still got a lot of good stuff on there. Tabs, links, jokes, whatever you need is on bluegrassbanjo.org. So I'd like to say thank you for watching all of this. I'd like to say thanks to the BBMA for letting me go on about this old tune. I hope everybody stays well, and I hope we can get together soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.